This episode of MPTV, we're going to talk to CT of Sugar and Spice Diner, a 2-location brand in Cincinnati that's been around for a long time. We're going to dig into what they've done to stay with this heritage brand, connect with their past customers, and then add a new location during the pandemic. Now let's go back to the 50s. Let's go inside. What's up? Another episode of MPTV. We are back, but we are at a place that is pretty cool because I've been around this area for a long time, and to see this diner come back to life is great. We're with CT of Sugar and Spice.
Yes, it's something that the community has really responded well to see the diner revitalized and have some life breathing in it again.
So we'll get to the diner later because I want to talk about how you opened a restaurant in the middle of a pandemic.
Yes.
That's got to be something that's not in a manual anywhere.
It is not, and it was a day-by-day, week-by-week playbook that we were kind of flying on the seat of our pants. Construction was one of the few industries that didn't have as many restrictions or regulations around closing down, and we had kind of that honest conversation with our GC, and they were comfortable moving forward with the proper safety guidelines that were put out by the CDC, and they forged ahead. Some lead times definitely extended a little bit, but at the end of the day, it gave us a little more planning on the back end. So the time was well spent. Certainly wasn't ideal, but we made it work. A good example of just timing working. We hadn't installed the booths yet, so it was an easy change order to get plexiglass added before they were bolted into the floors. So
it looks natural.
Yeah, if the plexiglass ever comes down, there's going to be a 1/4-inch gap that we'll either have to shift, but they don't look too bad.
That looks good.
Yeah.
So talk about the brand, Sugar and Spice, 1941?
Absolutely, 1941. Adam and Neil Mayerson, they are the 6th owners. They brought me on as an operating partner. So it's always my goal that they don't have to worry about the business, and I'll keep it running for them. But it's always been Cincinnati. It's always been locally owned, and it's funny, the Ducks as their front and center. These little guys, the previous owner, Stephen Frankel, started the duck tradition. It evolved. He used to give out little golden coins for kids' birthdays. I guess a lot of birthdays started coming in, so he switched it to rubber ducks, and then before too long, rubber ducks were going out to every guest that came in, and it really stuck. Probably the top two questions that we took as new business owners were, are the ducks staying, and don't change the menu. So it was pretty easy, true north for us to hit. So
what's that like? Because you've been in the restaurant business for a long time. Mm-hmm. What's it like to take over a heritage brand that people like, especially the original location?
Absolutely.
I mean, you go in there and mess something up, it's like beating their kid.
Yeah, there is we refer to Sugar and Spice as a unicorn in the restaurant business. To be able to walk into a place that's been open since 1941, and I mean the most significant thing how I learn is just from those old folks, the diners with that have been coming there for, they'll tell you that they've been coming for 60 years, 70 years. The traditions that people grew up with, and they're starting with their families. It's really unique. It's pretty special.
Was there any added pressure from a standpoint of opening a traditional restaurant, or like coming into that and going, okay, we got to make sure we walk a fine line because we don't want to mess up those hardcore loyalists that come in?
Absolutely, and we've been open since July 11th.
Okay.
Was our grand opening here at the diner downtown, and it's been interesting to kind of compare and contrast what people just think about it. Everyone loves the aesthetic. Some people are naturally, they'll try it, and then I'll talk to them at our original location, and they're like, they maybe lean more towards one or the other, but they like them both. It's like two kids. You like them both, but you might want to take this one, some days over the other. So
it's like me. I like going to breakfast with my daughter, and I like lifting weights with my son.
I
love them both.
Exactly. So, the other location, a little more intimate. You have a little bit more elbow room here, but same menu, same food, same recipes.
So I guess when you were talking about opening this location that we're in, I've walked by at our office a couple blocks away. I've seen this since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I don't even know when the last time it was operating as a restaurant, but you've turned it into just. I mean, this is appealing. It pleases the eye.
Yes.
I mean, it's gorgeous. The touches are there.
Yes.
Part of me says it was probably nerve-wracking opening a restaurant during the pandemic, but also maybe it was a little the opposite because you didn't have the crunch like we got to open next week.
It brought a new meaning to a soft open. It was almost too soft of an open, but it did help us operationally work out all the kinks before we had that weekend that just destroyed the kitchen so it from a business level standpoint it worked out.
Okay, break time. Restauranters, it's Matt. And if you're watching MPTV, you're obviously interested in improving your business. What if I told you could finally take the hope and pray out of your marketing plan and spend money and see results? You see, most marketing starts with the same exact tactic. You gain the attention of somebody, but that's where the majority of it stops. What we do with the ROI engine is help you gain amazing attention, which drives gigantic engagement. That engagement leads to customers to tell us who they are, meaning they opt into your email, text, and birthday program, and then we drive them to buy something. We've got a lot of great programs that can help you, and we'd love to have a conversation with you. If you're interested, it's easy. Check out ROIexperts.net. You can schedule an appointment, and we'll hop on a call with you. Worst case scenario, you learn how to market your restaurant like you've never heard of before. Back to the action.
Now talk about something unique because what I've seen nationwide is that the urban restaurants that are in locations like downtown Cincinnati. I drive here every morning.
Oh yeah.
It used to be a 40-minute drive. It's 10 now because there's no traffic. People aren't coming down.
Yes.
But when I've come here, like on the weekends or other times, people are here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, is it the fact that you're not your normal restaurant? It's destination. It's like an occasion to come.
And that's something that we have really tried to hone in on. And a barrier that we were fielding from our guests were parking. We just started a validation program at Ziegler Park, for a 2-hour validation. When you dine here, it's going to take some time to really get some legs under it, but people are taking advantage of it, which it tells us that more people are coming in than were before. But speaking to the weekends, it really like that family destination piece is certainly a big factor. People want to get out, they want to go to restaurants, and the ones that are operating with the COVID protocols, if they feel good, they'll continue to go back there. And that's been a comment that we've received is it feels good in here. So.
And I don't know how you convey the message, but I jokingly tell people that the Ziegler Garage is the safest, cleanest garage I've ever seen. Like I have a parking pass there.
Oh yeah.
I've been there leaving like late night events downtown at 3 a.m. and there's a guy in there sweeping.
Right.
And I'm like, I've never been to a parking garage where there's employees all the time.
Yes.
And like I've had people ask like, hey, where your office at? Is it okay? And I'm like, we have the best parking garage.
It's great. Yeah. No, it really is. And above Ziegler Garage.
Oh yeah, that park.
That green space is really beautiful.
I'm thinking that used to be a football field. We went up there the other day and we took a walk around it.
Yeah.
And it almost had to be a sport. The way that track is laid out is a great little walk, by the way.
Oh yeah, cool.
So you can have a great meal and go walk it off.
Right. Yes.
So shifting a little bit, because the audience of the podcast is restaurant owners and operators.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about your all's use of social media, because
Okay.
I know you've got a little help in it, that you've got a sister that has some experience in the social media world, but
Yeah, I get my help from her. Yeah.
But when I look at your social media, one thing I see a lot of restaurants struggle with is it's either all professionally photographed food.
Yep.
It's all standard looking stuff. And like on your guys' thing, I see some of the stuff that ties in some of the cool catches.
Yeah.
The pictures of people, the influencers, of course, great food.
Yes.
You highlight, I saw one in here highlighting some employees, the new sweatshirts.
Yeah.
You know, somebody coming down for their 23rd birthday.
Yes.
What it was like back in those days.
Yeah.
The ducks tied in.
Yeah.
Where do you all get the motivation to maybe, it just seems like it's so well-rounded.
And it needs to be somewhere else except in my head. But you know, I do the social media portion of the brand. You know, I would love to be able to pass it off. You know, personally, it's something that would free myself up, and I can feel it when the content isn't as consistent as far as a frequency goes.
Yep.
But I also really try to strive to keep it authentic, you know, and not forced. I love that user-generated content.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that it seems to work really well with my stories. And then if they're, we've had a couple inquiries as far as people asking to just shoot in the space, and as opposed to kind of trying to get like a fee off that, I just ask for their pictures and to be able to use them. So yeah, it's for me, it's just kind of keeping that authentic, you know, family business, focus on the food, focus on the diner, focus on the atmosphere, and just have fun with it.
Yeah.
You know, we're a very diverse, very inclusive brand, and you know, I just want to be able to translate that to our social media.
Yeah, I think the user-generated content people don't take advantage of. I had a client the other day that was looking for a picture of, like, how am I going to get a picture of this new dish to show you?
Right.
And I went on Instagram and found 30 of them. They're like,
Right.
where'd you find that? I'm like, just look at your hashtags and check-ins. And he's like, I never looked at that. I'm like, man,
gotcha.
my daughter is 18.
Right.
And when I got one of my favorite pictures ever of me.
Yeah.
She took on the Snapchat filter, and like it looks like a professionally done picture.
Right.
Because she's in there playing with every filter. And I think a lot of people don't take advantage of that.
Yeah, I would love to, you know, GIFs or, you know, Jiffies. That's something that I would like to develop, and I think we could have a lot of fun and almost make it a contest for our client base to have some fun with it. And you know, the staff here is a little bit more tech savvy, so that, you know, they have a lot of fun with social media. They've staged and posed a couple of the shots. So, you know, the duck with a mask, the Halloween duck. You know, they have fun with it. You know, they're hip to the Instagram, and
so I'll give you a tip then on something that not my own tip, something I saw. We were evaluating a client of ours, a brand called Coconut Kenny's.
Okay.
Chai was actually on the podcast. He's out in Bellingham, Washington.
Okay.
Their brand, they do a Where's Kenny's.
Yeah.
And they do a contest where people constantly post pictures of them with their Coconut Kenny's box or shirts.
Yep.
I could see, where's your duck?
Yeah.
Like, tell us where your duck is, like it's on your desk. Because I guarantee you they're on office desks, they're on keyboards.
Oh, they're everywhere, yeah.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
And you could probably get amazing different pictures like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So is there a nickname for the duck, or is it just Ducky?
You know, our hashtag is #SNS Ducks.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I don't think there's, you know, they're all so unique. I don't think I could name
every one of them.
one name for all. Yeah.
So before we wrap up with the last question, I'll just ask you this, because I know that there's probably an inclination when something like this gets this big,
Yeah.
that it becomes a larger line on a profit and loss sheet.
Yeah.
And somebody has probably said, like, oh my gosh, look how much we're spending on ducks.
Right.
How do you a lot of businesses probably struggle with that. They've got something they're doing. Like
Right.
we had our boat dealership. I don't know if I told you
The
the story
jacket.
last time. The jackets.
Oh,
we
yeah.
gave away jackets.
Yeah.
We were doing 30 grand a year in jackets. I remember our accountant going, you guys are insane. And I'm like, but how many thousands of jackets are there?
Absolutely.
Like, how do you balance that as a business?
And I mean, there's, I won't give the exact cost of these ducks, and but you know, it's marketing dollars, it's, you know, it's advertising dollars, and you know, you might not ever know how much business was gained or lost because that little kid was like, I want my duck today, and as a parent, you want to make your kid happy, and like, all right, well, let's sugar and spice it is. So yeah, just kind of thinking above, thinking beyond that line item, and really kind of trying to establish your brand and the longevity of it. If you can do it for X amount per guest, then it's something worth considering.
Or the residual value of the reminder.
Yeah.
We came here, we have our team meeting, we go out to lunch on Mondays.
Yep.
We came here, the first time we came here as a team meeting, I had kind of forgot, I think it was breakfast.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking lunch, and I had a duck on my desk, and I went, sugar and spice. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
the new place, let's go.
Absolutely.
I mean, nothing else on my desk reminded me of a restaurant.
Yeah.
But I had that, and I got my cup from the pizza place over here.
Yeah, and we are starting to expand our delivery service for the downtown location to help out with some revenue. So I mean, again, that can all play a part of generating those return customers and guests. So.
Restaurant owners, did you know Matt has free online marketing courses that teach you how to successfully market your restaurant? Email support@mattplapp.com to get access to the courses and a free social media content calendar.
Okay, so last question.
Yeah.
And we switched this up a couple weeks ago because one of my clients, I loved what he said.
Yeah.
We call it airplane mode.
Okay.
So as a entrepreneur, you're on the go a lot.
Oof.
Your phone is blowing up. You could probably work 18 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Right.
What do you do to put it on airplane mode to get out of that element and get your mind back?
So I would say I do it somewhat easily only because I have a growing family. So when I'm not here, I really try to give all my attention to them. If I have to, true airplane mode, my phone is not on me. I will go out. I have a project in our backyard that we're clearing some trees and down limbs. It'll take at least all winter. So I will take my chainsaw out there and try to get the kids to help. But usually it ends up just being me out there clearing my backyard, get ready for a fence. So yeah, just that physical activity is my airplane mode. Yeah.
Cool. We appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That's all we've got for this episode of MPTV. We'll see you around, and come get your duck.
Yes.